During today's event, we are joined by the experts from TransNexus to describe out-of-band shaken, an innovative new solution to implement stir shaken for both SIP and TDM service providers. So let's get started. First, some introductions. I'm Alan Percy, the CMO for TelcoBridges and today's event host, and glad to have you here join us with us. Along with our guest today is Jim Dalton. He's the CEO at TransNexus. All right, so you've explained how stir shaken works, and you've also chatted about some of the hindrances earlier. But what are some of the key issues with stir shaken, and what are the problems here?
Yeah, so Alan, gosh, we implemented shaken, actually at the end of 2017. It's pretty straightforward from a software development and implementation view, but integrating it to the network, that is the challenge. And, we found challenges all over the place with our early customers. We would return the token as the shaken authentication module would to the soft switch of their SBC. And it cannot take the token. There's no way to take that token and get it into the outbound SIP invite. That changes with newer releases. That's making that possible, but companies are going to need to upgrade their switch to be able to get to a newer release that will be able to accept that token from an authentication service. So that's kind of the first place. If you look in kind of at the originating carrier, the token is blocked at the soft switch or SBC. We've seen that's been a common problem. And when the call gets put out onto the network, if the call is going SIP across the internet, then packet fragmentation is it's an issue.
All right, so you showed what is stir shaken. So what is out of band shaken, and how is it different from stir shaken? So let's just walk us through this.
Yeah, so what out of band shaken is, it's building on an IETF standard called out of band stir that began a long time ago, and we needed solutions for our customers. They had shaken, that was deployed, and it just worked in so few use cases because of all the issues we just talked about. And so, the solution we found in looking around trying to find some way to get this to work was to leverage this IETF standard called out-of-band stir. And really a more specific use case, which is out-of-band shaken, which is it's simpler than the standard of out-of-band stir. And what that is, it's sending the shaken identity token out of band directly from the authentication service to the verification service.
All right, so our next question to them, why would a SIP service provider want to use out-of-band shaken? All right, a SIP service provider should be able to deliver an in-band token. Why would they want to use this out-of-band shaken?
There's a long list of things here that, are reasons why it's good. I mean, for me, it just boils down to it's simpler and gives you flexibility. You're not going to lose tokens in transit.
So now let's move on and talk about the TDM providers, right? We know there's still plenty of providers out there of TDM equipment, or some part of their network is still TDM. And how can they leverage this out-of-band shaken?
Yeah, so this is really interesting. And so this is a technique that really you guys developed. Mm-hmm. And we had customers, and they didn't have SIP. They didn't have a SIP interface to their switch, right. And we couldn't help them. But y'all offered a solution using your gateway, and realized an ISIP IM message is basically the same as a SIP invite. And our software, we need a SIP invite. That's what the shaken standard defines as is the interface to a shaken authentication and verification module. And what y'all devised is, let's just take an ISIP message. We'll convert it into SIP that you need for shaken authentication. We're going to pull out. We got the calling number. We got the called number. We've got the timestamp. We got everything from the ISIP message that we need to use. The shaken authentication module can add the attestation based on the customer's policies. It can add that origination ID based on the customer's policies, and it can sign it. And now you got a token, and we can send it out of band to the destination.
Of course, the next question is how to get started, right? And this is one of the hurdles. There's a lot here to absorb, and the question usually pops up with how to get started. So Jim and I put together a call to action here, which for you folks is we'd like to invite you to request a consultation. You know, every network's a little different, every situation's a little different, and the best thing to do is to get together on a conference call to request a consultation. It's real easy. Go to www.telcobridges.com/getshaken. All right, so that brings us to the end of the content, and we can start to look at this huge pile of questions here, Jim. I warned you. You ready?